How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Continues to Tick. We are finding ourselves deeper into the new year. Crazy to imagine we are now approaching the midway point of January 2021. But that is time, right? It doesn't stop. With this brings me into this week's main video topic, which will be sharing my dividend portfolio goal for this year. I'm hoping that by putting it out there, I can hold myself to another level of accountability. 2021 just began, so I figured this is the best time to do it, as we have plenty of time in the upcoming year ahead of us. But time passes quickly, and before you know it, we'll find ourselves in December of 2021. And I guess time has passed. I mean, we're not in December of 2021, but we're pretty close. In November of 2021. Second week now, 3 weeks away from Thanksgiving. And, well, what better way to show you that time has passed than being in the future now? So, yeah, that was back in January 2021, Jesse. So,
And hello, guys. Short time has passed. We've reached a little bit more than 26 subscribers for the channel. We've hit our dividend portfolio goal for the year. And, well, not everything has changed. I still happen to drive a 2001 Toyota Camry. The paint has chipped some more since then, also now has a check engine light on that I haven't addressed. But, it still drives quite well, despite the rattle. And no, the wheels haven't fallen off, so still, no Jeep Wrangler for me yet. And hopefully I can make it to 30 with this baby. That'd save me some money, not having to buy a vehicle in all my 20s. That's another goal. And side note, good thing I already have a partner that understands. Cause well, if I were single, I wouldn't survive with this oldie. I mean, look at it. Ooh, but that's a segment for possibly another day. But jokes aside, this does happen to be a pretty special video today, and a rather important milestone to have hit. You see, time passes if you haven't noticed. And I don't mean that in a sarcastic way, or with poor intent. I mean it in the sense that time is actually quite difficult to follow. We tend to not truly notice the days go by, and it happens to be every so often when we actually do look and notice. An example of this is seeing old pictures of family or ourselves. I know we've all been there. What a shocker those are, right? And I'd be the first to raise my hand and confess to this. I'm alive every day. However, my days become rather mundane, often not allowing me to remember them, as they often blur together. But I will say, since doing these weekly videos, it's helped me a lot, helped keep me present, and I can only hope that they may somewhat do the same for you. They remind me to see today for what it is, and then the last 7 days for what they were. But anyhow, as you saw by my rather old intro, and do excuse the poor old computer quality, hopefully you can tell we got a new unit since then. But that episode was recorded back in January of this year, in the birth of 2021, and at that time, I had calculated a goal that was attainable, as long as I stayed consistent and let time pass. And here we are now in the second week of November, about 10 months later, about 60 days from ending the actual year. And we've done it. We accomplished this year's goal for the dividend portfolio of reaching the 40K mark, the goal we set out to achieve earlier in the year. Now, in terms of personal life, there also has been some growth, but we'll maybe leave that also for a discussion at another time, yeah? Yeah. So if you've been here for a while, you know my milestone videos. We go a bit more in detail than we normally do in those. Then our typical weekly portfolio reviews. I'll break down the dividend portfolio, going over the normal review as we do, but also digging deeper to covering the portfolio's yield, the number of holdings that I have, my portfolio's expense ratio, my sector allocations and percentages, and then last but not least, the big question: how much does a dividend portfolio, the size of now $40,000, pay me in passive income? And so with this all being said, we got some ground to cover, so let's begin. But just before, how about the weekly reminder to like the video if you enjoy these, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet already. As those that have been here know, this journey is not stopping anytime soon. And although no need for a palate cleanser this week, I'd figure to throw in a picture of a very nice fence job. I'm sure we can all appreciate that, right? Now, here we are in the Jesse's cash flow portfolio, now hitting or crossing the 40K mark. I try to time it in a way where, it actually is, $40,000, but the markets, I can't control them. and they somewhat exploded last week. So if you saw my last week's video, we were around 39,000. Here we are now at 41,100. And the only thing I've done was deposit the $500 just like we normally do. But as I'll show you in the past week's performance here in a bit, the markets, they just tend to do what they do. But anyways, here we are currently sitting at $41,144.32. This is with an all-time return of 38.55%, which equates to a total gain of $6,463.47. And as far as market gain alone, of $5,729.11. And then for earned dividends, we're currently at $734.36 on the all-time charts. And then also just to show you the activity for this last week before we keep moving forward, here we are on November 1st, getting paid some dividends. Starting with ABM, getting paid $1.84, and then AT&T, $9.42. And then also JP Morgan Chase, $5.41. And then Verizon, $5.82. And then these added together, it's about $20, slightly more. And then I'm sure we also had some dividend leftovers from last week. So here we actually have a snowball going into the portfolio on November 2nd of $29.23. And then on November 3rd, we have our deposit, just like we always do, of $500. For those that are new here, that is the systematic game plan. And I know I am fortunate enough to be able to go at this pace, but my only role at this point is to, yes, keep working my day job, but to also remain consistent and try to do this on a weekly basis. And then here we are with the funnel, also on November 3rd. But as you can see here, no actual snowball on the funneling of the deposit, but earlier in the week, we had a $29 snowball here. And then as you see here on November 4th, some of you may already be aware, or maybe it's new information, but IBM has a segment in their company that's branching off. Yeah, Kyndryl. And they branched off, and because I was holding shares of IBM, they gave me, fraction of a share, which equates to about $10.13. And if you were to ask me, Jesse, are you going to keep it? I'm likely not going to keep it, just to be transparent. I usually don't like selling anything, but it's just something more to worry about. And it's not a company that I did my research in up front. It's not something I'm really interested in now. I'm just going to go ahead and allow it to liquidate. So now that we got the normal goods out the way, let's go back to our all-time chart here. Let me quickly just show you the 1 week performance for this past week, just so you can see what I was trying to express earlier. As you can see, over this past week, we had a 2.29% return for the portfolio, and this equated to a $919.58 gain, so almost a $1,000 week. And then going back to the all-time charts, now that we officially got all the normal goods out the way, how about we just take a turn down below here and start just showing you my sectors and the percentage allocations. And do let me just quickly divert just to mention that if you're curious in seeing anything that's in this portfolio, you want to do it on your own time, just as M1 Finance so thankfully does, they have a link, a cool little system to sharing the pie, which I always include in the description box down below. You can click on that, take a look at this, and go at your own leisure. But for sectors, here we are starting with the biggest. We have real estate, set at 13% of my dividend portfolio, followed by consumer staples at 12%. Tech is my third individual sector at 10%. And then here we are with my ETF and index fund, which are also both at 10%. So combined, it's 20% chunk of the dividend portfolio. I'm all about being diversified. Moving onwards still, here we are also with utilities at 10%, followed by financials at 9%, industrial set at 8%, healthcare set at 7%. We also have communications here at 5%, energy at 3%, materials at 2%, consumer discretionary, which I will go ahead and click and just show you. It is McDonald's, and I'm loving it. Sorry, I feel like I do that every single time. And then just to show you an example of what it is, if you actually go to clicking the link down below, you can click on my tech sector, for example, and you could see like, oh dang, Nvidia, it's been blown up, with a 213% gain. Or you can take a look at Cisco. You can see my actual allocation of the individual stocks. And now moving forward still, let's go to checking out the pies. Let's get into the little statistics of this portfolio. So as you can see here, I have 51 holdings, and it still says 51, even though we just got that new segment branch off from IBM, technically making it 52, but I do, as I said, plan to sell that one. So for the most part, we will be keeping 51 holdings. The funny thing is, when I started this portfolio, maybe I had $2,000 in this portfolio, and then I had 51 holdings. Well, that seems like overkill. But my idea was just kind of like buying a big pair of shoes, when you're 10 years old. You're outgrowing your pairs really, really quickly. My idea by holding 51 from the beginning was that eventually, with time, I knew my portfolio would grow and I'd grow into those holdings. And with that, I would have started with the really, really good, hopefully good, dollar cost averaging in each of these 51 holdings. So, compared to having a $2,000 portfolio with 51 holdings, now we're at a $40,000 portfolio with 51 holdings. And then as you can see here with dividend yield, we're at 2.778%. So if you watched any of my other Milestone videos, I like to keep it anywhere between 2.7 and 3.2. And then as you'll see by my Div Tracker app, there's a somewhat of a difference between the both of them. I'd like to imagine that the dividend yield is actually somewhere in between, and you'll see what I mean here in a moment. And then as for expense ratio, it's at 0.01%. And the thing I always like to say here is that I just don't like giving away more money than I need to. And now let me show you the Div Tracker app. It's the app where I actually can show you how much I'm actually making in passive income with a $40,000 dividend portfolio. So as you can see here, this is the annual dividend income for this portfolio of $1,112.23. And it's for the Jesse's Cash Flow portfolio of $41,000. And as you can see here, on an annual basis, it provides over $1,000 worth of dividend income, $1,100. On a monthly basis though, breaking it down a little further, we get paid $92.69. And then if you want to go by days, we can almost afford a cup of Starbucks coffee on a daily basis. And as you can see here, it has a dividend yield of 3.14%. So as you can remember, as I was showing you earlier from the statistics on M1 Finance, it was 2.7%. Here we are at 3.14%. So as long as it's somewhere in between both of those, it's a dividend yield that I'm totally okay with. And if we take a look down below here, we can see the annual dividend income goal. When I hit the $1,000 goal, I changed it to $2,000, which is my new goal. And we're at 56% reached. And we'll see where we are at the end of next year. I'll be here, and hopefully you will be too. And last but not least, as I enjoy these, let's briefly go over our last week polls, which I do enjoy learning a lot from. As you can see here on this first one, I had asked what I believed was a simple question, but I knew it was a challenging one, especially when you go to actually think about it. Asking you guys if you do believe in regrets. And then as you can see here, 75% say yes, and 25% no. I was actually a little surprised by this one. I didn't know it was going to be, such a disparity between the both of them. For me personally, I do believe in regrets. If just given another opportunity to do something differently, I likely would. I'm all about personal growth. I would imagine that with personal growth, with time, if given a second shot at something, I'd hope to do it better than the way I've done it before, or just do it more efficiently, if that makes sense. I don't live in regrets like on a daily basis, but I do believe in regrets. I believe that, we're not perfect. And with that comes an opportunity to make mistakes, make errors, but to also learn from them and try not to repeat them in the future. And then as you can see here by the second one, if you could go back in time and change your career choice, would you? And this one was also a little surprising as well. I think it's pretty clear. I think most people would choose yes. They would say yes. That if given another opportunity to go back in time, it looks like most people would change their career choice. And as for me on this one, I work as a registered nurse. It's a cool career. Fortunately for me, as a nurse, there's so many hats I can wear. So I can be more clinical if I want to. I can do, more of an office job if I want to. I can go work in a prison if I want to, which is what I'm currently doing. So it's a career I'm actually okay with for the most part. Working every day, going in every day, that's my problem. That's the part that kind of gets to me. That's the part I would say no to. And thank you to all those that continue to just create a discussion board down below. I really do appreciate it. And I really like engaging in the conversation with you guys. It's a lot of fun and I do enjoy it. So thank you. So that's going to be it for this week's video. Thank you so much. I know when I had that dividend portfolio goal, I only had 26 subscribers. And now here we are now at 660, 670 plus. And that's awesome to see. I really don't plan on stopping this journey anytime soon. It's something that keeps me present. And I hope with that, it also allows you to be present as well. It's a really important skill to have. And it's one that I often struggle with, especially as we keep going with time. And speaking of time, I'll see you guys again here in 7 days. I'll be here. Hopefully you will as well. And until then, take care. And as always, peace. That was a little backwards, but the point remains the same. See you guys then.